Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jay if you're new here, and this story time I'm going to be telling today is really juicy, and there's a lot of tea, so buckle up, grab your popcorn, grab your snacks, clean your room, do whatever you gotta do because this story time is about to be wild. But basically, I fell in love with my boyfriend's best friend. Yeah, I'm exposing myself. But anyways, if you guys like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. It would mean the world to me, and without further ado, let's just get started. So this all started when I was 14, and I had just met basically all the people that live around me. Like, all the kids, basically. And we would always hang out, and by the way, this story time, I'm not bashing anyone. I'm not trying to talk shit about anyone. I just want to make that clear, because I don't want anyone up my ass for it. So, yeah. But as I said, I was 14. I had met this friend group, and I basically became a part of it. And it was all the kids around here because my old friend group, we basically just kind of crumpled after COVID hit. In this friend group, there was this guy, and we're going to call him Josh. Okay, we're just going to call him Josh. Josh was just a year and a half-ish younger than me. And we hit it off, and at the time, he had this girlfriend. What should we call her? We're gonna call her Lola. We'll call her Lola. I don't know, that's like the only name I can think of, okay? Leave me alone. But anyway, so he had a girlfriend at the time. He said they were dating for a few years, and for some reason, I started to like him. Yeah. Anyway, so he would always hang out with me and the rest of the group, and we had some pretty fun times, I'm not gonna lie, you know. Like, we were close at one point. There's no need to be bashing anyone, so obviously not gonna bash anyone. I was low-key a little bit jealous when he said he had a girlfriend because, as I said, for some reason, I liked him. And yes, I was single at the time because I had just broken up with my long-distance boyfriend. Low-key, though, it wasn't serious because we only dated for, like, a few days. You know how middle school relationships, like, they don't last long, like, you only date for, like, a few days or a few weeks. It's nothing, like, too serious because you don't fully know what love is. Yeah, it was basically that. Plus, I just couldn't do long distance, so it was better if we broke up. So, yes, I was single at the time. Eventually, we got to know each other more, and we would always be hanging out. Around this time, though, we did not hang out alone. We would always be with the friend group, doing whatever, you know, just walking around because it was summer and no one was trying to stay in the house. Fast forward, Lola ended up cheating on Josh, so Josh was single and ready to mingle. So in my head, I'm like, okay, this is the perfect opportunity to get to know him on a deeper level. We would only be in contact when we were outside hanging out because I didn't have his number or anything. Damn it, this shit keeps breaking. Well, that's great. My eyebrow pencil broke and there's nothing left in it. So I'm just gonna hope that my one eyebrow ain't a different shade than the other. So fast forward to September, and I was unfortunately stuck in a relationship with my best friend of 10 years that I did not want to be in a relationship with. And why am I using that mirror? Well, great, that fell. I'll deal with that in a minute. But the one night she was about to sleep over, and my best friend since elementary school was over, and I still have her on Snapchat, by the way. We just don't talk anymore, but she is such a good person. I miss her so much, honestly. But she was over, and so was Josh, and we were sitting on my front porch while I was eating mac and cheese, waiting for my girlfriend to arrive so she could sleep over. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Josh was like, damn, I just found out that the girl I like has a girlfriend. And me and my best friend just look at each other and we're like, what the fuck? Now I'm thinking, okay, this can't be a coincidence, because he said that when I brought up the fact that my girlfriend was going to be sleeping over. So I'm like, okay, that cannot be a coincidence. But fast forward, some very traumatic shit happened between me and that girl, and she broke up with me because she was scared of people finding out. When in reality, the whole school basically ended up finding out what happened. And she lied a lot about it. But that's beside the point. This is when Josh and I had started to become closer. The one day, one of my good friends couldn't come outside, so I was like, you know what, fuck it, me and Josh will hang out. So I'm walking around looking for Josh, and he's at the park. So I'm like, alright, this is my chance. So I walk up to the park, and I'm like, hey, and he was like, I'm like just chilling, listening to music, and then he was like, what's like your favorite like music? So he puts on shit I like to listen to. And in my head, I was like, oh my god, like, he has to like me. Girl, bye. Girl, bitch, please. So we start walking around, just to, go for a walk, and it starts to sprinkle. And so he's like, here, take my hoodie. And in my head, I'm like, damn, he's really a gentleman. So I was like, no, like, it's your hoodie, like, it's fine. And he's like, no, take it. So eventually I took it just to make him happy, even though I did like him. So I'm wearing his hoodie, and then when he has to go home, I give it back to him. And this is when things really start to change between Josh and I's friendship. I mean, it was strictly just a friendship at that time. Like, there was literally nothing going on. So, period. But we had gotten way closer. Fast forward to October, and the one day it is me and one of my friends at the time and him just hanging out right outside of my house. And then all of a sudden he's like, yo, do you guys have a number so I can keep in contact with y'all? And even though my best friend didn't have her phone, she got her phone taken away. My best friend at the time, by the way. We're not friends anymore. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to give him my number. So I give him my number, and that whole night, I'm sitting there in the kitchen making mac and cheese, whatever, and we're just texting, and we're making jokes. It was a really good time. Like, I'm not going to lie. So I'm like, you know what? If he don't ask me out, I'm eventually going to ask him out. That was the deal I basically had made with myself. I was like, if he don't do it, I'm going to do it. I'm going to be that bitch. Or so I thought. And then same thing happens basically the whole weekend. We hang out a lot, we're texting, and then the 18th rolls around, and he's like, yo, like, I have something to tell you. And I was like, okay. And he was like, remember how I said, like, I really liked you, like, I used to like you? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, well, I kind of lied because I still like you, and I was wondering if you wanted to basically be my girlfriend. And I was like, period. So obviously I said yes because I really, really liked him. So we had started dating. And the first year of our relationship was pretty good. I'm not going to lie. Just because we're broken up doesn't mean I'm going to say it was shit. The first year of our relationship was actually pretty good. But fast forward to around our 1 year. So around our 1 year, he had introduced me to his best friend, and I'm not even going to come up with a code name for him because we're literally together right now. But I was like, oh, like, so are we going to hang out sometime? And he was like, yeah, like, I was wondering if you wanted to hang out with me and then his then girlfriend. So it was me, Jay, which is Josh's best friend, and then Josh, and then Jay's then girlfriend. Girl, this girl, as soon as I looked at her, I knew, like, I didn't like her. But as soon as I looked at Jay, I was like, okay. All of us were hanging out, I had caught Jay, like, staring at me, and then he would kind of look away, and I was like, whatever, I'm not going to say anything. And then his girlfriend kept literally trying to kick Josh in the ass, and I was getting pissed off. Like, I was getting really pissed off. I'm like, bro, this bitch is so loud and obnoxious. And low-key, I was kind of jealous of her because I was like, Jay's kind of hot. But I had a boyfriend at the time, so I didn't say anything to Jay. But after our 1 year, things did start to go downhill. But I don't know how it happened, but I ended up getting Jay's Snap, and we added each other, and we wouldn't really talk, Occasionally, he would just text me and be like, yo, like, are you okay? Because I would low-key be in my feels. I'm not gonna lie. I was that bitch. Because I have struggled with my mental health for a while, and now me and Josh's relationship was starting to go downhill. So, y'all remember Lola, right? She wasn't done. Fast forward to around my birthday, Lola and Josh would sit at the same lunch table together, but I didn't have lunch that period. I had science, and I was like, oh, you know what, whatever. But I had this weird feeling in my gut that everything wasn't the way it seemed. Everything really just was not okay. I should have just listened to my gut sooner. I really should have. And this was when Josh and I started having frequent sleepovers at my house. So one night, Josh had slept over my house. Everything was fine. And keep in mind, this was either right before my birthday or after my birthday. Pretty sure it was a little after my birthday, though. And I woke up, and he was still asleep. So I just had this feeling, like, literally, this strong-ass feeling came over me, like, you need to check that phone. And I'm not like that normally, but something in my gut was just screaming at me, like, bitch, check that phone. Check that phone. Like, you need to check that phone. So what did I do? While he was sleeping right next to me, I open his phone, and I find a conversation between him and Lola. And he had literally said to her, I shit you not, like, I put this on everything. If you and I were both single, I would smash your brains into the floor. And she said, ow. And he was like, not like that. And then he sent, like, a wink face, like the wink emoji. And I was like, bro. So, of course, I'm pissed off. And, I put his phone back, and I try to go back to sleep. But I'm bawling my eyes out. Because what the fuck, Josh? What the fuck? So, I literally was upset the whole day. And Josh could tell something was wrong. But I didn't want to admit I looked through his phone. I was that bitch. I just didn't want to admit it. Of course. But eventually I told him, and he got really pissed off. And that's when my gut feeling started to get stronger, because I had a feeling something was going on between them two. But, it gets worse. And, like, at the time, though, our relationship to everyone else was so perfect. But in reality, it wasn't. This is when we had started to fight and become off and on. So I said, listen, I'm going to set a boundary. You can talk to her in school. That's fine. But because of what I seen you guys texting about, I don't want y'all texting. And then he basically just started to fight with me. And I was like, you know what? Whatever. Like, what the fuck? Like, I'm supposed to be your girlfriend. Why the fuck are you saying that to another bitch? This is around the time that Jay started to text me and be like, yo, are you okay? Like, you okay? He would, literally, all he would ask me was if I was okay. But I ended up finding out later on that when he would do this, Josh would text him and be like, why the fuck are you texting her? Of course she's okay, she's with me. In reality, he was the one that was making me feel like shit. Bro, sometimes I just don't get men. I really don't. Like, in my gut, I had just known that something was going on, and my dumb ass decided to stay with him. In reality, I should have just broke up with him and then texted Jay. But did I? No. Because one, Jay had a girlfriend at the time, and I was not about to be a homewrecker. I don't like homewreckers. I don't fuck with them. So, that's kind of why I didn't. Plus, I was in a relationship. So. But around the spring is when shit really hit the fan between Josh and I. I had started to skip fourth period to go sit with Lola and Josh at the lunch table. Yes, I was that bitch. I was determined to figure out what the fuck was actually going on because I didn't want to seem crazy. I wanted to gather all the evidence and then confront him. And sometimes men just think they're good liars too, until we confront them with every single piece of evidence. I can be a whole FBI agent when I want to be. He just didn't understand that. That's not my problem. The fuck? We had really started to become off and on. Like, we were always breaking up, then getting back together, breaking up, then getting back together. And I was like, bro, why can't I just have, like, a steady, consistent relationship? You know? Like, why? Why did it have to fucking be like this? And so, of course, I was depressed all the time. Like, my mental health, once again, had started to decline because when Josh and I had got together, yes, I was in a dark place because there was things going on in my life that just weren't, too good. But now I had really started to decline because I felt like Josh was the only thing I had, and he was keeping me alive. I was that bitch. And do I regret it? Very much. But you live and you learn. So my mom was kind of concerned, low-key, but she didn't really say anything, and I didn't really tell my mom what was going on between Josh and I, what I had found on his phone, and that I had this really strong ass-kicking feeling that something was going on between him and Lola. So fast forward to July. We were fighting all the time. It was just horrible. Like, we were yelling at each other. I was begging him not to leave. I was that bitch. I was a dumb bitch. I'll admit it. I'm not going to sit here and lie to y'all and be like, I wasn't a stupid bitch. No, I was a stupid bitch. I would be begging him not to leave when we would fight. And I would be bawling my eyes out 24/7. And he would be like, well, I'm not going to comfort you. What the fuck? You're the one that's making me cry. And you're just going to be like, well, I'm not going to comfort you. At the very end of June, we had broken up once again. Was it a surprise? No. It really wasn't. Yes, I'm going to curl my lashes again, by the way, after my mascara dries. So it wasn't really a surprise that we had broken up again, but we had this weekend trip planned with my sister to go to Six Flags. And time comes, we're not together, but that day we hit the gym, and then we came back to my house, made sure all our bags were packed, and then my sister picked us up, we left, and I'm gonna be honest, like, the trip was so fun. I had a lot of fun. I was just kind of disappointed because he didn't really go on much rides with me, so thank God there was 2 other girls there my age that actually wanted to go on rides with me. Because I was like, I don't want to go on rides alone, but I want to go on rides. Like, the fuck? And my sister had taken my nieces into the kiddie section, and first of all, I'm not about to go on no kiddie rides. 2, I'm too big for that. 3, I want to go on, like, the real shit. You know what I'm saying? So the girls there ended up going on the rides with me, and it was just a really fun time. Like, that whole trip was fun. And basically, we were just pretending to be together that whole entire time, so my sister didn't think anything was up. So one of my best friends had passed away, but before she had passed away, she would talk to Josh and basically try and kind of mend our relationship back together. She would try and help. She would try and help a girl out, alright? Because in reality, for some reason, I still loved him. Why? How? Don't ask me. I'm a stupid bitch. I'll admit it, I'm a stupid bitch, so what? I'm not that dumb anymore. So she ended up telling me the one day, right before me and Josh got back together again, that he had told her that he wasn't sure because one of his quote-unquote lifelong best friends had asked him out and he wasn't sure if he should pick her or pick me. That should have been a huge fucking red flag. That really should have been, but you know. But fast forward, he picks me, we get back together, la 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 la. And this is when he started going on walks. We would still hang out, but he would go on walks. So he would come to my house a little bit later than he normally would. I thought something was weird about it because the one day, about end of summer, I was sitting there on my second mom's porch with my little sister, and according to her, out of nowhere, I literally just blurted out, "He better not be at that bitch's house." Why did I get back together with him? Why didn't I just leave his ass and move on to the next? Like, peace out, bitch. The fuck? And I haven't seen Jay in a while at this point, but he would still text me and ask if I was okay. But things are about to get real fucking juicy, so you really gotta buckle up now. So fast forward to September, my junior year started, and our relationship was like really fucking falling apart. We were still fighting, nothing really got better. I don't even know why we got back together at that point. But you know what? I was happy. He would take even more walks now, and I was like, okay, something's really gotta be fucking going on. Because he would be like, oh, I'm taking these walks to clear my head. And I'd be like, alright, that's fine, whatever. Go for a walk. Make time for yourself. Because in a relationship, their whole world does not revolve around their partner. Like, he did not have to be with me every living second of the day for me to function. Another thing that I had failed to mention was that when I would keep going through the conversations between him and Lola, yes, they would text behind my back, thinking I wouldn't find out, but bitch, I found out. He would always be like, oh, did you eat today? I love you. And I'd be like, why the fuck did you say that you love her? He's like, oh, as a sister. So at that point, I'm like, okay, I'm either tripping or he's on some real weird shit. And fast forward to around National Boyfriend's Day. This is when everything just crumbles. I would be posting on my Snap story, oh, I'm so happy and I can't wait to spend National Boyfriend's Day with my man, and I would tag Josh. And then eventually, since we were so off and on, Josh would be like, oh, my friends think we broke up, like, don't post me. And I'd be like, I was like, oh, okay, but in reality, I thought something was really fucking weird about that. Because we would be holding hands and shit in school, so, like, what the fuck was the issue? Like, I remember this one time that we had went to the park by Jay's house, and we didn't hang out with Jay that day, but, I was literally in a non-verbal fucking episode. And I was sitting there, and then all of a sudden, this motherfucker gets up, and he's like, why the fuck would you say that? I'm leaving. Or something along those lines. And I was like, wait, why are you leaving? Like, please don't leave. And then he's like, no, after what you just fucking said, I'm fucking leaving. And I was like, are you fucking hearing shit? Because I didn't say shit. I haven't said shit almost this whole entire fucking time. So what the fuck are you fucking talking about? Are you delusional? So, of course, I start to cry, and then we're getting in a screaming match where we're walking around the whole fucking neighborhood. And keep in mind, this park was like a half hour to 45-minute walk from my house because it was right by Jay's house. And I didn't really want to text Jay. Like, I didn't want to bother him. I didn't think he would care. I don't know why I fucking thought that, because if he would text me and be like, hey, are you okay? Obviously, he fucking cares. Fast forward to right before 2 years, literally on National Boyfriend's Day, this motherfucker broke up with me. I don't even remember the reason at that point. We broke up so many fucking times. I don't know, man. But he was like, you're a crazy bitch. We're done. And I'm like, bro, what the fuck? What the fuck did I do now? So, of course, I was heartbroken. And then he was like, but we can date just for our 2 years. What the fuck? I was like, wait, what? But like a dumbass, I was like, alright. Trying to act all happy about it. And then the day we had broken up on National Boyfriend's Day, we're at my house, and my mom was trying to like calm the whole situation down, because remember how I said we would always fight? My mom would think I was the one starting the fight, and so was my dad, but she would be listening right underneath the stairs, because that's where her bed is, and she would hear him just call me fucking names and shit. We were always at each other's neck. So in a way, I just honestly should have been relieved that we fucking broke up. But I was upset about it at first. He basically made a fucking deal with me. He was like, alright, well, we can date for the week of our 2 years, and if I don't see any improvement in you, then we're done for good. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Are you dumb? Do you speak dumb? Fast forward, that week comes. I thought everything was fine. But according to him, it wasn't, so we were done for good. And our original plan was to go trick-or-treating for Halloween, but my second mom was right next to him. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go with my little sister. So my second mom curls my hair, gives me a leather jacket, makes me look really nice. And I was walking by the house, walking by my ex's house to go see my second mom, to go to her house. Josh's little brother was like, I thought she was going trick-or-treating with you. And he was like, I don't think she wants to. And in my head, I'm like, damn straight, I don't want to. But fast forward, we end up running into him, and we're talking to his little brothers and shit, because something was going on at the time. I can't remember. Some people wanted to fight Josh, and honestly, I should have just let them. I really should have just let them. That's not my fucking problem anymore. Go ahead, beat his ass. Beat his ass. I was like, bro, that's what I should have done. I should have just been like, you know what, fuck it, you can have him. Here he is, beat his ass, go ahead. I don't really care, but no, of course I didn't. I literally forgot to mention that the whole reason they basically wanted to fight him was because he pointed a pew-pew at a little kid's head. Who the fuck does that? Who the fuck does that? And the fact that I cried over this man so many times, the fact that I even shed a single tear, even came close to a single tear because of him, I feel like a huge dumbass. The fact that I cried over someone like this just really pisses me off. But now I'm not going to sit here and cry over a little boy, especially because now I'm not with a little ass boy. And he gives me a hug and he's like, you're so pretty. And I was like, thanks. And I literally lay on the fucking pavement, fucking bawling my eyes out. My little sister helps me up and she's like, come on, let's go back. Don't ruin your makeup. Come on. Get with it, bitch. Get with it. So we ended up going back to my second mom's house, and she's like, you can't be crying, like, you gotta pull it together. He'll get back with you. He didn't. Spoiler alert. I mean, is it really a fucking surprise? Because as I said, we broke up for good at that point. And then Halloween night, I forgot what happened, but I think the dude that was trying to fight him, like, we were all in a group chat, just the three of us. Group chat we had called, and basically we're just talking about it, and then all of a sudden, me and Josh just kind of start fucking fighting out of nowhere. I forgot to, like, go into detail about this specific fight, but basically a lot of crazy shit was said during this fight. I lied out of my ass. Okay, I lied out of my ass, and I was like, oh, like, I had to think about other guys, and he was like, I had to think about Lola, and that's when I lost my shit. And then he was talking shit about a dead child, too. Like, who actually does that? Like, who in the right mind just does that? Like, what the fuck? And then he came for my appearance. I can't talk. He came for my appearance, so I started coming for his appearance right back. If you think you're going to come for my appearance and I'm not going to say shit, about yours back to you, then you got me fucked up. So yeah, that was awkward, but Jay ended up texting us that night about something personal in the group chat we had with just me, Josh, and Jay. So I got the bright idea. Halloween night, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna fucking text Jay. And so me and Jay were talking, and basically the whole time I was venting to him about everything that happened, and he was like, bro, what the fuck? And then he had told me that he had seen Josh and Lola holding hands at school while me and Josh were fucking together. And as soon as they seen Jay, Josh immediately let go of Lola's hand. So now I'm pissed off. And I'm ready to lose my shit. Once again. Another mutual friend of Josh and I, this motherfucker is hated by the whole school, let me tell you, because he admitted to me that he had kitty pee on his phone. What the fuck is, like, just what the fuck? And he had a thing for animals. Fucking gross. And even then, we weren't really friends. Like, I didn't really fuck with him. And he was like, oh, I liked you for a while. Like, we should date, whatever. And I was like, bro, not in a million years. Fuck no. But he had basically told me that the reason why Josh was like, oh, like, don't post me on National Boyfriend's Day. Like, everyone thinks we're broken up. Whatever. Even though that didn't make sense because we were together at the time. He broke up with me late on National Boyfriend's Day. Was I really that fucking dumb? What the fuck is wrong with me? I was really fucking dumb, actually. He was like, yeah, like, everyone, like, you know, and he was like, and then can I not talk? So basically, what I'm trying to fucking say is that mutual friend that, you know, loves animals and children, what the fuck? He was like, yeah, like, he would always be at her house. I found out from Lola they were kissing, cuddling, and doing God knows what else. And I was like, fucking told you. Fucking told you. I told y'all. And I told myself, but did I listen? No. You know why? Because I'm a stupid ass bitch. That's why I didn't listen. Thank you. I tell Jay this, and keep in mind that mutual friend that, you know, loves animals and children. We're gonna call him Children Lover. That's what we're gonna call him. We're gonna call him Children Lover because he doesn't deserve a fucking name. I tell Jay what he said, and I was just so pissed off. And then somehow, me and Jay started talking, but Children Lover had a thing for me. He'd be like, oh, like, can I come over? Can you teach me how to pole dance? And I was like, what the fuck? And then he was like, Friday, I'm gonna come over to your house, and we're gonna do shit. And then I was like, actually, no, like, I really like Jay. Because me and Jay, somehow, that whole venting about Josh ended up leading to us starting to talk. How? I don't fucking know, because I was telling him, I was like, listen, like, I'm about to ask Jay out. Like, seriously. I'm done playing with this man. I want him to be mine. And he was like, oh, like, we can still do it. You just don't gotta tell him. And I was like, fuck you. The fuck? Fuck no. Fuck you. Thank you. That's literally fucking cheating. The fuck? I'm not a hoe. And besides, I did not like him. Like, he just wasn't my type. At all. But, like, I didn't feel bad that I started to talk to Josh's best friend, because it's not my fault that his best friend was hotter than him. For the love of God! For the love of God! Womp to the fucking womp womp, bitch. That is when Jay and I had started to figure out some time to hang out. But every time we would hang out, he would be like, oh, like, I'm at my mom's. She said I can't hang out. And I was like, okay, that's fine. Like, that's fine. And by the way, his mom is a literal sweetheart. I literally love her. Eventually, it's a Saturday, and I'm getting ready to go spend the night at my sister's house and hang out with my nieces and my sister. And then Jay calls me, and I'm like, Okay, well, this ain't out of the ordinary because we would call and we would play games together. We would talk, we would have a fun time. It's around the time he started giving me nicknames. So I'm like, okay, like, he has to like me back. Like, I was determined to figure out if he liked me back. I was fucking determined. Just listen to this shit. So he calls me and he's like, hey, like, do you want to go see the lights parade with me at so-and-so park? So my mom drops me off at a store that's right by the park, and then we just finished, like, walking to the park together. And honestly, I had such a fun time. Like, it was just genuinely so fun. I didn't feel held down. That's when I actually first started. So I was like having so much fun. And I could tell when I first met him that he was such a genuine person, but now it was just really showing how truly genuine and fun he is. And after that night, like, we definitely started talking more. We're like, oh my god, I'm sorry, y'all. And we're like, we need to hang out again. We definitely need to hang out again. And so the day or so before Thanksgiving, he ends up coming to my house. He comes to my house, we're up in my room, and we're playing Guitar Hero, watching the FNAF movie since it had, like, just come out not that long before that day. And then a couple days after Thanksgiving, by the way, it's important to note that I completely dropped Children Lover because I found out that's when I found out he liked children and animals. And I was like, I'm not fucking doing with that shit. And he was like, oh my god, your trauma is so hot. And I was like, what the fuck? And then there was another guy. I was about to say Jay was the only guy that, like, I felt like had feelings for me. But I was wrong. Another one of my ex's friends turns out also had feelings for me and was like, yo, do you want to meet up and do shit? Basically, do you want to meet up and fuck? And I was like, sorry, I'm busy. And I had a suspicion that Jay liked me. And before we actually hung out for the first time at that parade, I was in the library at school, and all of a sudden that conversation came up because we were snapping. We would snap 24/7, call 24/7, talk 24/7, vent to each other 24/7. Like, we were already close. And the conversation came up. You know, that conversation where your crush is like, so who do you like? Who are you crushing on? Yeah, and then it came out that he liked me. I was like, so I do have a fucking chance. Alright, I'm gonna be that bitch and I'm gonna shoot my shot. Once again, I have failed to mention something. So, remember back in the story time when I said that myself, Josh, Jay, and then his then girlfriend hung out? Yeah, ever since that first time that we've ever seen each other, he's liked me. And I've liked him since then too. And I was like shocked when we got together and then he told me that he liked me that long. I was like, damn, bro. I should have just fucking kicked Josh to the curb and just went for Jay. But the main reason why I didn't do that was because Jay had a girlfriend, and even though he admitted he didn't really want to be with her during that time, and I could have texted him, I didn't want to be a homewrecker. And Jay didn't want to be a homewrecker, so we didn't talk like that. Well, Josh and I were together. I figured I'd throw that out there. But y'all don't understand. Like, I really liked him. I saw him and I was like, damn, he's just so, like, perfect. And he was so sweet. And sometimes Josh would be like, yo, do you want to go hang out with me and Jay? And I'd be like making up excuses because I was like, I really liked him, but I didn't want to be around him because I just known something, like, could have possibly happened. Not that he would have forced himself on me, but, like, some shit would have, like, happened. Like, I just really was not taking the chance for Josh to find out that I really liked his best friend because his best friend was hotter than him. By the way, I am not a hoe. I just want to throw that out there because it kind of just sounded like I was a hoe because I liked someone else while I was in a relationship. But I don't look at other guys like that while I'm in a relationship with someone who actually doesn't treat me like an animal and actually treats me like a human being. So that's why I was like that. And in Jay and I's relationship, I've literally I have never even, like, gave any guy the time of day. Like, I won't even look another guy in the eye, because why the fuck do I gotta do that? Like, I have a whole boyfriend, and I love Jay and no one else, so I just wanted to throw that out there that I'm not a hoe, so thank you. And I was like, my whole plan was I was gonna ask him out, but he ended up telling me, like, it ended up coming up in a conversation one day that he wasn't ready, because he had just broken up with another girl at the time. So I respected that. Like, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna wait till he's ready. But a few days after, he ended up coming to my house and we watched a FNAF movie. Like, he texted me the one night and he was like, hey, it was like 12 o'clock at night too. He was like, hey, like, call me, I have something really important to tell you. And y'all, so I FaceTime him and he asked me to be his girlfriend, and I was just so fucking shook. I was like so happy. I was like, yes. And then since we started dating, a lot of shit had actually come out about my ex. He had started to tell me a lot of shit. He was like, yeah, like, ever since, like, you guys broke up, he's been coming to my house and just bitching about you, saying you're a crazy bitch, and you would make him do this and do that. And in reality, I was the one that was being fucking made to do everything. And keep in mind, me and my family would do everything for fucking Josh. We would buy him clothes. I took him on 2 fucking vacations, all of which I paid for. We would buy him groceries, all of which we paid for. Not him. Not a fucking dime. And whenever his parents were fighting, I gave him a fucking bed to sleep in. Like a dumbass. So, yeah, I was a real fucking dumbass, I'm not gonna lie. So I was like, you know what? Fuck this shit. Just fuck this shit. You know? So Jay had ended up telling me that he had actually beat the shit out of Josh multiple times, because Josh would always try and be like, yo, why are you texting her? Like, that's my girl. Of course she's okay. She's with me. Like, as I was saying earlier. And Josh had enough. Not Josh. Fucking Jay. Jay had enough. And, yeah, I pretty much beat his ass multiple times over it. And then when I told Jay everything that happened, he was fucking livid. He was like, what the fuck is wrong with them? And I caught him with CP on his phone too. And I was like, oh, fuck no. And I was like, well, we're together. And he was like, yeah. And I'm like, dude, that is fucking gross. Like, I don't get it. What is so attractive about children? You know what? I don't want to fucking know. Because either way, it's not going to make me attracted to children. There's nothing attractive about children. They're children. They're growing up. There's nothing attractive about them. Like, go for someone your own fucking age. One day, we're sitting in Jay's basement, and we're talking to his stepbrother and watching his stepbrother play games. And we're sitting on the couch down there, whatever. And then, all of a sudden, I forgot how it started, but Josh had texted him and was like, she's lying about having BPD. I looked up the symptoms, and yeah, it just don't seem like her. When in reality, you know what's funny about that? He was in the room with me when I got diagnosed with it. He was in the fucking room with me when I got fucking diagnosed with fucking BPD, and he tried to say I didn't have it, and that I was just crazy. Bitch, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, seriously, what the fuck? And so, Jay ended up admitting to me that ever since he found out that I have BPD, he would do a ton of research and, try and figure out how to deal with it. And before my best friend passed away, he also told me that she would, kind of like help, like tell him, like, this is what you gotta do for this situation, this and that. And does he still do that shit to this day? Yes. He takes really good fucking care of me. Best forward to like literally like December, like right before New Year's. You know, me and Jay hadn't even been dating for a fucking month at this point. Not yet, at least. And we find out that, remember his ex that I said that as soon as I met her I didn't like? Turns out Josh had gotten with her and tried to go for his other ex. And they're both fucking crazy. And yet he wants to call me crazy. But Jay's ex ended up cheating on Josh, so karma's a fucking bitch. But anyways, this is the end of today's story time. I hope you guys liked it. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. It would mean the world to me. And I know this was a roller coaster, but, you know, my life is a roller coaster. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video, and yeah, bye guys.